Hey everyone, welcome to my first commentary video that I have delayed many times and for way too long now. So I kind of wanted this video to be about 200 ml mindsets and kind of my own mindset about 200 ml. And before we get into it, I'm not trying to make this video to offend anybody or to tell people there are right or wrong ways to play. I don't think there is a single best way to play. It really comes down to whatever makes the game easier for you to play if your goal is pretty much um, as many hours as you can play, which is what it is for a lot of people. So the first topic is the idea of macro efficiency, which I know pretty much everyone watching this video will have a good understanding of what macro efficiency is, but it's basically the idea of finishing your goal in as little time as possible, which this is generally used for the idea of 200 ml or for maxing. For maxing, it's not as big of a deal for people to do like all the fast skills first, but for 200 ml macro efficiency, that's generally what it is. Like you'd start with, say, cooking and maybe thieving while trying to make money, and then you could then use that money to do other quick buyables, stuff like that. But for maxing, it's not as big of a deal to do the fast skills first. It's more using the bonus XP to your advantage. But I want to talk more about the 200 ml macro efficiency. And I said just a minute ago that I think the best way to play is by making the game easier for yourself. And I don't mean this by like cheating in any sense. I'm pretty strongly against that. And I get annoyed when someone is taking advantage of something by cheating. So what I mean by making the game easier for yourself is you try to think of factors that are sort of holding you back from achieving the goal you want. And a lot of people, their goal is to harm all, despite them even claiming themselves like, yeah, they're not going to get it, but they still have it in their mind. And there's not a problem with that, but I feel like you can make that goal more realistic by making the game easier on yourself. And what I'm trying to say with that is you think of the things that Turmoil requires, which is just hours played, and then although people may not think of it as such a big deal because of Altscape and everything, but in-game money, like GP, that's a huge factor in Terminal. And I know it stresses a lot of people out. It used to stress me out as well, but I've kind of come up with a solution that pretty much allows me to ignore money completely. But what that also requires is for me to, well, it doesn't allow me to do all the Bibles first, which, yes, that is probably the best thing to do for Jumalal, because those skills aren't going to be devalued, while stuff like mining or fishing, which I've already done, probably will be devalued and I'm going to lose a lot of hours. But by doing these slow skills first, I'm able to make money, and then I can do all of the fast skills relatively easily and stress-free. And to me, that is a very major part in not burning out. In the past, I've never fully burnt out. There have been times when I didn't really want to play, but um, yeah, I've played pretty consistently ever since I started going for max, even though I never played a large amount of hours in the past, but more recently I have. And I think I found a really good balance between staying on like the classic idea of macro efficiency and my kind of twist on it of just making the game easier for myself by removing stress and GP, essentially. That's pretty much what it is. Um, I think a lot of people who have, or they say they have the mindset of 200 mil all, they they're really good. They're often really good players, but I feel like they're just gonna hit this wall of them only having the slow skills left, or pretty much just the hard skills left, and I feel like that's going to be extremely challenging for them. And I know if I was in their position, even though I do enjoy the slow skills, but I feel like if I was forced into it, I would really hate it and it'd probably burn me out. And that's what a lot of the macro efficient people are going to run into. And I do think most of them will burn out, unfortunately. So there are a few other things I want to touch on first. Um, so there are a few different types of macro efficiency that I like to think of. One is being sort of XP oriented, which I know I've memed in the past, calling it DMP, but it's not really that big of a joke. Like, sure, it could be kind of odd because you're pretty much ignoring hours played, which is probably the best unit of measurement for progress in this game. But if you're only looking at XP, and even if you do think you're gonna have the time for Toon Lol, it's not a horrible way to play the game. Um, what I mean by that is you're gonna be making progress pretty much the entire time, and yeah, you are gonna hit that wall at the end of nothing but the hard and slow skills, but it is, you could say it's a short-term mindset, and it's what a lot of my friends say, even though I hadn't really ever thought of it like that. I don't know. It is pretty short term, I suppose, but if that's the way that you want to play, then you're pretty much doing what I was saying just a few minutes ago. That's making the game easier for yourself. If you're doing something that you want to do, that is making it easier on yourself. If you ever have to force yourself into doing something because you think it's macro efficient, you're not going to be enjoying it and you're not making the game easier for yourself, even if it's more efficient, and you're going to end up burning out. And the other type of macro efficiency would be just HP oriented. Um, so this kind of, it could be the same as going for just overall XP, but it's not as extreme as it could be if you only wanted XP, because a lot of the tutor mill buyables, they'll give you quite a bit of EHP. I think just all the bank standing skills alone is like 2 or 3 thousand hours. Um, so the people like Oscar and Randy and Link's Titan, and then pretty much everyone after them who has done all the bank standing skills and all that, they have been very macro efficient with the buyables. They were able to do them at really low costs, and now they're done with them. But the problem is they've pretty much hit the wall of only difficult skills left to do. And despite them being macro efficient, I don't think that they can like really push through and make it all the way through all the solo skills. Well, I know Lynx will. Um, I do think Oscar is capable of it as well. I know Randy gets bashed on a lot. Um, I he definitely is capable of doing them all. He's just not gonna have the time. I don't think he'll probably end up quitting simply because he doesn't have the time and not because he's burnt. I know a lot of people would simply call that the same thing, but I don't think of those as the same thing. Um, I think I just named Oscar and Randy and Lynx. Yeah, I didn't mean to call those people out. I'm just saying those are three people who have done a good balance of macro efficiency where they want XP, but they also didn't do outrageously inefficient things only for XP. Like they've pretty much gotten 1-to-1 EHP or higher during everything that they've done. And that's good because you have to find, I think, a good balance between getting high XP per hour while still getting EHP. And I think that is a good balance for macro efficiency. Um, I think most people who have that idea where they want high XP, but they still want all the EHP, I think those are the people who are probably capable of 200 ml, but not necessarily the people who will actually get 200 ml. I feel like the people who are actually capable and who actually will get 200 ml are the people who are willing to, like I was saying earlier, make the game easier for themselves. Often that could even mean like AFKing the gathering skills or the slow skills, which you can do. Pretty sure. Yeah, all the slow skills, there's an AFK option, and yeah, that's going to take way longer. But if you're willing to do that, you're probably going to get to your MLL. You could probably squeeze in all the hours possible. You could probably finish it. Um, so a few people who right now who are really standing out to me, um, I think Omar will get to your MLL. He's he's going to be all right with the viables. And the thing with him and gathering skills, like, sure, he doesn't love them and he hasn't done very much XP in them, but I feel like he is one of very few people who would be willing to pretty much AFK all of the slow skills if he has to, and if that's all he has left. And yeah, he might hit that wall of having nothing but slow skills left, but I feel like that won't really matter. Um, AJ, he is fully capable of, I think, really any playstyle of Tirmalol. Like he wouldn't do this, but he would be perfectly fine at doing like XP oriented or EHP only oriented, which is pretty much what he's doing right now, just EHP, or a good balance between the two. But I think he may run into the problem of just not having enough time to play. I don't think he'll burn out. He's just not going to have a whole lot of time. Sean Bay. By the way, I'm just naming people who are kind of are standing out to me as I'm looking at the top page EHP right now. Uh, Sean, I don't think he'll get to Hermalol, um, but he's definitely capable of it. Like he hated fishing, but he still somehow managed to do 70 mil all from 3-ticking. He kind of just, I mean, he felt forced into it, which is kind of unfortunate, but he was able to do all of that. And I think at this point, Sean is kind of just taking the game kind of easy, and we could see in the future just how far he could take it. And I do know he'll go really, really far. Um, let's see. Pano. I don't know actually how much of the slow skills Pano has done. I know he's done a lot of agility. I do think he's also going to run into the wall of having nothing but the slow skills left. But I don't know. You don't have to be anyone like special to do all these slow skills. It's just that if you have no option but to do them, I feel like they're going to be quite difficult to get through, and that's just the problem um, with the play style of a lot of these players. Is like sure it's macro efficient, and these things like mining or fishing are going to get faster in the future. Like I know they will get faster in the future, but I don't know, just having them out of the way just makes it so much easier. So I think, but I do think Pano would still be capable of doing it, like managing his way through all the soul skills. And I do think he'll have the time to do 200 mil all if he chooses to do so. Who's up next? Um, oh yeah, Beleg. He's an interesting person. He uh he has this weird thing where he'll PM me his next goal. He hasn't told me what his next goal is, but um he was still finishing Hunter, and then he just PMs me randomly one day like gonna do Terminal RC next time. It's weird because I don't know, you just believe in him when he says something like that. He's never burnt out. He's done everything that he said he's ever gonna do, and he's done it straight with no skill hopping, pretty much. Um, so he's gonna do Terminal RC. He's gonna be done in a matter of months from now, which is kind of insane. Um, I know he really dislikes some of the skills though, and for those of you who don't know, he's not maxed. I think he's maybe 2.1k total. Um, he's got a decent amount of soul skill XP. He's gonna finish rune crafting. Um, the things he's done on his account are pretty incredible, and he's found a really good balance of doing the hard skills mixed with the viables. I remember at a time, I think he was like rank maybe rank 3 or 4 for total viable XP way back in the day. Um, so he's found a very good balance of all the good skills. So he's another person who I would think of as very capable of doing all, and it's really just up to him if he wants to do it or not. Um, let's see. Burned by RNGL. That's Scott. I think Scott. I'm not sure. I think he can get to Malal. I think he'll have the time for it. I just don't know if he cares to do it. And I guess I've said that about almost everyone already. Uh, oh, Sens was someone I skipped over. Sens, I think. Oh man, he used to be my hero. Still is, kinda. Yeah, he's had a very interesting play style where he was playing a ton and he did like almost all of the viables, and then he did redwoods for many months, and then he comes back and he's still a super high EHP and XP rank. Um, I don't think he's done a lot of the slow skills, but then again, it's like seeing him being willing to do all of the slow skills. Oh, sorry, just by AFKing redwoods for that long. It kind of just tells me that he's willing to AFK the others if he has to. I know AJ has said about him that he's always like, even when he's not playing, he's efficiently AFKing, which I think is pretty accurate because he's either in Nightmare Zone or at Redwoods for, well, not anymore, but back when he was doing wood cutting still. That's pretty much what he was doing, and he was always being efficient while he AFK'd. Um, Next we have Karma. Now Karma recently has been going for, or just trying out a lot of the slow skills, and I think he's doing quite well in simply trying them because I know a lot of people have completely skipped over them and like not even wanting to touch them until that's all they have left, and I feel like that's going to be really hard on a lot of people, but Karma's at least willing to try the slow skills. I know he's in the 20s for his fishing XP. He's working on Hunter now. I know Hunter isn't often grouped in with uh, like the slow skills or the difficult skills, but um, I don't see why not. I think it could be. He's doing black chins, and that arguably is uh, pretty difficult to do. Well, that's another thing. Pretty much everyone who's done 2 Millet black chins or a lot of XP at black chins, that's and it's kind of always blown me away at how they can just never quit. And I mean, it's okay if you do some red chins, like, I'd still find you extremely respectable if you can manage to just stay at black chins and deal with the PKs. I'm gonna attempt to do that. I think I could do it, um, but I look up to anyone who can do it because it's really impressive to me. Um, Next we have, I guess I could talk about myself a little bit. Um, I feel like I've found the best balance for myself where I slowly make money while I do a slow skill and then I can do a buyable. So I'll probably just continue kind of doing that and kind of just seeing where it goes. Like, I don't care if I lose out on hours in the future. It doesn't really bother me. I just think I'm making the game easier in the future for myself by doing the hard skills first. Next, Frozen Day, aka Ely. He's already proven himself that he can do the difficult skills. I think he was the second person to two-tick all of woodcutting, and he did black chins for all of his Hunter XP, or at least post 99, I think. Um, so the things he's done with those two gathering skills are really impressive to me, and he's in a pretty good situation where he can do quite a few of the viables and be comfortable with money. So I don't think money is stressing him out too much. I know it is a little bit, but it's more like he doesn't want to waste the money. Um, and I think that's a big thing, money. And so these next few people I want to touch on, Animus and Ardino. I don't think they have very much money, and I feel like that's going to be really difficult on them in the future. Um, I think, or I may have heard someone say that Amos used an alt because he did pay for farming, and I know his hunter alone wouldn't be enough for farming, I don't think. So he may have an alt, um, but I know a lot of people just call him a non-alt user. He's done incredible things with all the slow skills and everything else that he's done, like super consistent. He's probably one of my favorite players of all time. Um, I just really hope he doesn't quit over GP issues. I feel like that'd be really unfortunate with how much potential he's shown and how good he is at the game. As for Ardino, it's more like I don't think he has a whole lot of money outside of his hunter money, and I don't think he plays alt, or at least not yet. Um, like, he has a lot of skills left where he can make money doing. Like, of course, pretty much everybody I've named already still has all of 2 or mill agility to make money during. Um, but Ardino, he's like, he'll be able to play enough that it's almost irrelevant in terms of ranks that he hasn't made a whole lot of money through Altscape. Like, if it comes down to it, he could just make money on his main account and still get like an incredible overall rank in the end. Um, who knows? He may just do that. He's fully capable of it. Ardino has become one of my favorite players as well. Uh, Probably because of the fishing. And I don't know, I've never actually talked to him, but I have this idea around him where whenever he's playing RuneScape, it's like he's going all out on it. And I don't know, I've sort of tried to take up that mindset more recently where like I don't mind if I have to do stuff in real life for a bit. Um, like, well, I'm working right now and I'm going back to school in the fall as well. But I mean, like, just stuff around the house. Like, it used to bother me when I had to do stuff around the house, but now it's like it's okay to just log out and do whatever you have to do, and then just come back and then try to just be positive. Um, yeah, just come back and try to go all out. Uh, I wasn't even trying to talk about a bunch of players. I didn't really mean to do that because now I've skipped over a whole bunch of people who I think are really good. Didn't mean to do that. Sorry. Um, how long is this video? 25 minutes, oh boy. Alright, this is gonna be a ramble video then. Trying to think of anything else I had written down in my phone's notepad. Let me see. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I wrote down this one bullet point where I said I would rather burn out of 2 Hermalol early compared to doing all the Bibles and then burning out because I couldn't do the slow skills. I feel like that, well, that's just me personally, where I don't want to call it a waste of time if you don't think you can like finish this game, because there aren't really going to be very many people who will finish this game. But I know that's kind of against what a lot of people just enjoy about this game, which is the competition, where they try to get as far as they can in whatever they choose to compete in, whether that be EHP or XP. So I can understand trying to go as far as you can in those two things, but it's like if you end up burning out, I don't want to say what's the point, because the point was they were having fun doing it, and they were maybe not having fun during every skill, but the big idea of it, of competing with the other people and going as far as you can, they did find that fun, and that's what makes it okay to me. But I feel like I've never quite caught on to that whole idea of getting as far as you can um, before burning out. I know a lot of people wouldn't actually say that themselves, like, yeah, I'm just getting as far as I can before I burn out. But I do think that's going to happen to a lot of people. Um, so my approach more recently to Turmalol is to do all of the difficult skills first and sort of just see if I can do them. And I'll be finishing mining relatively soon. And after that, I think rune crafting is the only skill that still intimidates me. Um, I don't think I'll do it soon. I'll probably just wait it out and let there be a fast AFK alternative. Um, or yeah, just really wait it out because it is intimidating to me. But that's that's pretty much it for uh, skills that I find difficult that I have left to do. I didn't find fishing very difficult because I enjoyed it all. I also didn't quite have that mindset of doing hard skills first when I chose to do fishing. I kind of just picked it up and I enjoyed it. Um, I didn't start mining for any particular reason, but I'm I'm pretty well. I know I will get terminal mining at this point, but even a few months ago when I was when I was tweeting out like rank 4 mining, I was not confident at all that I was actually going to get 200 mil mining. Um, like in my mind, there was a small chance, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna burn out, but I'm gonna tweet this stuff anyways. But I sort of just, I pretty much ended up convincing myself that I was capable of doing mining, but I sort of had ended up tricking myself into doing that because I told people so often that I was confident in doing it, and it got to the point where I actually convinced myself that I was capable of terminal mining, and that kind of ended up working because now I am I am actually confident that I will get terminal mining now. So, okay, we hit the 30-minute mark. I don't think I had anything else to touch on. Um, I skipped over a lot of good players. I didn't mean to do that. I probably shouldn't have even started naming people in the first place, but that's alright. I didn't mean to call anybody out either. Um, so that will conclude it. If you've made it all the way through this 30-minute extreme ramble, I salute you. I'm proud of you, and thank you for watching.